So Sayadaw has been here under the guidance of the Panidarama Venerable Sayadaw to teach the yogis who were his relatives in the previous lives. So he was happy to be here to share his Dhamma knowledge with all the yogis here. And then last days, Sayadaw expounded the 9 principles, but and also he expounded 3 difficulties. He mentioned 3 difficulties many yogis commonly encountered. The first one is unpleasant sensation of pain, and also Sayadaw explained how to overcome, how to master the pain. And then number 2 difficulty is wandering mind or thoughts or the mental hindrances. And then number 3 difficulty is sleepiness or sloth and torpor, tina metta. Now the weather is quite cold and gloomy and windy, and it may be boring for yogis to put effort in the practice. So Sayadaw afraid you may get bored or the practice and meditation. If you are encouraged, if you are instructed to keep on noting all the time. So when we feel bored, and then our mind become inactive, unwilling to put great effort, and then sloth and torpor, tina metta, will take place. So why tina metta take place? There are 2 reasons. One is tina metta is one of the evil army. Out of the 10 kinds of evil armies. So when we practice vipassana meditation, we are doing great wholesome deeds. So the evil, they don't like us to do good deeds. So they shoot us with the tina metta weapon. And then we feel tina metta, sloth and torpor, we sleepy and lazy. That means we are defeated in the battle with the evil. So that's maybe one reason. And then another reason is related to the food. So when we eat, we should eat something suitable and also moderate amount. If we eat too much, and then there is a problem and may lead to the sloth and torpor. So in this regard, Venerable Sariputta, he gave us guidance to develop the moderation in the eating. Chattaro pancha alope abhutawa udakam piwe, and so on. So we should eat moderate amount of the food. We should not eat excessive amount. So at least the Venerable Sariputta advised us to skip 4 or 5 spoonfuls, last spoonful, before our stomach is full. So we should reduce 4 or 5 spoonful out of our stomach full. So then we can feel comfortable, and in this way we can practice, exercise the moderation on eating. So as Venerable Sariputta advised, we should eat in a moderate amount of the food. So moderation in eating is a very supportive, helpful to the development of continuous mindfulness. If we eat carelessly, mindlessly, to full stomach, and then definitely we feel sleepy and drowsy after a meal. So maybe we are regarded as relatives or the king Kosala. Because King Kosala also ate a lot, too much. He gained weight and eat a lot to full stomach. So one day the king visited the Buddha, and right after a meal. So with the full stomach, he feel very sleepy and uncomfortable. Difficult to sit properly in front of the Buddha. So the Buddha, having seen him in discomfort with a full stomach, the Buddha asked him, Your Majesty, do you not take a nap after a meal? Then the king replied, No, sir. I, right after a meal, came pay visit to you, so I feel very uncomfortable. So the Buddha, in this regard, mentioned if we eat too much, we will become like a pig. We will gain weight. So we should not eat too much. We should exercise the moderation in eating. The more we eat, the more weight we put on. And the more weight we put on, and the more diseases coming in. So that's why the Buddha frankly said, don't eat like a pig. Exercise moderation in eating. If you eat as much as you want, and then you will gain weight as a pig. And a pig naturally eat a lot, whatever available they eat. And after that they sleep. And the rolling side to side. And if we eat too much as a yogi, we will become sleepy and drowsy. We cannot make effort in the practice. If we cannot make effort in the practice, so we will lose the great opportunity to develop vipassana insight. And unless we become enlightened, we are always liable to be reborn in a woeful state. So eating too much or without exercise and moderation in the eating can even lead to the woeful rebirth and making us going around and around samsara. And unless we attain the first stage of enlightenment, we will reborn again and again, and we will afflicted by old age, sickness, and death, all sort of the suffering. Especially when we were born in the woeful states. So Sayadaw doesn't mean we should not eat enough food. Of course, it is necessary for us to eat sufficient food for nutriment. So otherwise, if we eat too much excessive food, and then we will become very fat. So like the Kosala, King Kosala. So King Kosala eat a lot, too much. You know, a day he eat a lot of rice, and it is even said he ate every day a goat, the whole goat. So he eat a lot. So no wonder he suffer slow and torpor and gain weight and too much weight. So if we want to take delight in the sloth and torpor, or if we want to take pride in sloth and torpor, maybe we may take pride to become relatives of the King Kosala. So the Buddha, out of compassion to the King Kosala, he gave a method to overcome this problem, to lose weight. The Buddha gave a Pali poem, Manuzata Sara Satimato Tanukasa Ziranti Vedana, and so on. So this poem need to be learned by heart, memorized. So one of the men must recite this poem every time the King Kosala on his meal table, on his dining table. So the brief translation of this stanzas or poem is moderation in eating can give one 3 benefits. Number 1, one can keep healthy body, stay free from the diseases. And then number 2, one can look younger. And number 3, one can live longer. So free from disease and look younger and live longer. So these 3 benefits will be brought about by the moderation in eating. So this is the poem. One of the men, he learned by heart and recite every day when the king is on his dining table, so that the king remember to reduce his food intake. So in this way, the king reduce his food intake gradually. Finally, he become very fit and much healthier and look much better than before. So he was so touched by the Buddha's compassion and wisdom. So he contributed great amount of the donation to the sasana. We call Asarisa Dana, unbeatable charity. Asarisa Dana. So even a single day, he gave great amount of the donation to the holy order. About 40 billion to the Buddha's holy order. So that's why this kind of generous donation was known as the Asarisa Dana, unbeatable generosity. So now we learned how the King Kosala can overcome the Tina Meda problem. And another example of the Tina Meda problem is Venerable Moggallana. He was practicing intensive retreat in a village east of the Rajagaha city. For the whole weeks, he put great effort in the practice, especially walking meditation. He spent the whole day practicing meditation, walking back and forth. So he was tired and fatigued. And when he sat down, practiced, and then he feel drowsy and nodding. So when we feel drowsy and nodding, we may remember Venerable Moggallana, the second chief disciple of the Buddha. We may be proud of that to become relatives of the Venerable Moggallana. So Venerable Moggallana, he tried his best to develop the higher enlightenment, but he put too much effort and fatigue and drowsy. The place he practiced was in the beggar state, and the city is Susumaragiri, and near the Rajagaha city, Rajagir, known as nowadays. Then the Buddha at that time saw the Venerable Moggallana nodding. When the Buddha exercised the divine eyes, he saw Venerable Moggallana nodding and drowsy. Then the Buddha came down to Venerable Moggallana and then asked Pasalayasi Tuan Moggallana, "O Moggallana, are you sleepy? Are you nodding? Are you drowsy?" And then Venerable Moggallana replied, "Yes, Venerable Sir, I am." Then the Buddha gave advice to overcome the sleepiness. Maybe many of us have ever listened this Dhamma talk, or some of us may not ever listen this Dhamma talk. Anyhow, it is good to listen Dhamma talk, even whether it is old or new. It's good to listen what the Buddha taught us. He has 7 disciplines or 7 methods for a sleepy yogi to overcome drowsiness or nodding or sleepiness. The first principle is not to observe the object that make us sleepy. Or in other words, we may change the meditative objects. For example, here yogis are practicing vipassana meditation by observing rising, falling, or the abdomen as a home object. So by doing so, we may feel sleepy and drowsy. That means this observation or rising, falling make us feel drowsy. In this case, we should change the object. Maybe we may note sitting, touching instead, or sitting, touching, no one. Or we may note the in and out breath, anapana. So unless we overcome sloth and torpor by changing meditative objects, and then we are advised to ponder the Dhamma or Dhamma talk. So, for example, this Sayadaw's Dhamma talk. We think about the Dhamma talk and we analyze Dhamma talk. Banidarama Sayadawji, this and that Dhamma talk given. And Chami Sayadawji has given those Dhamma talk. And something like this. We should recollect Dhamma talk we have ever listened before. So that's a second method to overcome sleepiness. Or we may do the kind of the chanting and verbally. But during the retreat, when we are sitting in group, it's not very good idea to do chanting verbally. Of course, in old days, yogis were practicing in solitude. Yogis were practicing alone, and they can do that way. But we are practicing here in group. We better not do chanting verbally. That may disturb other yogis around. So this number 3 method, we may not use it. And then number 4 is to pull our ear or to massage our limbs and body, or we can pull the ear lobe quite hard, and then we feel fresh, and also we can massage body part here and there. So number 5 method to overcome the sloth and torpor is to keep our eyes open and then note sitting, touching, or seeing, sitting, touching, seeing. And also we can wash our eyes and then look up at the skies or stars. For the time being, it's cloudy. There's no star in the sky for us to look up. So today, this retreat, we are only recommended to walk under the roof. And during the sitting, we should keep our eyes open and note it, seeing, or sitting, touching, seeing, and so on. This is the number 5 method to overcome the sloth and torpor. Number 6 is to contemplate on the light. We should contemplate on the light, and then there will be no room for the sleepiness. This is the 6th method. So the number 7 is to develop the mindfulness by walking. So walking meditation should be done carefully so that we can overcome sloth and torpor. And also sometimes, in some cases, there are evil spirits. They interfere with our practice. If it is so, we may send metta, loving kindness to any evil spirits around. This is also one thing for us we can do. And then the last result is go to bed. Unless we overcome sloth and torpor, even though we apply this method, the Buddha advised us to go to bed. On the bed also, we should lie on the right side and noting all actions involved with the mindfulness. And when we wake up in the morning, we should not be lazy. We should get up right away with the mindfulness. And mindfulness should be continuous from then on. So even if we apply these 7 methods and cannot overcome Tina Metta, and then in a positive point of view, from the positive point of view, we may be happy that we are getting closer to the enlightenment. The closer we come to the enlightenment, the more obstacle coming in. That's the nature of the practice. Sometimes the evil spirits use the Tina Metta as a weapon. So it's also good to send our love to the evil spirit, particularly. That's called Udesa Metta, the metta to a particular individual. So we may send our love to evil spirits. May all evil spirits be well, happy, and peaceful, and so on. So in this way, we can overcome sloth and torpor by applying all sorts of the methods available. And then we can practice meditation successfully. So you may ever learn about the 8 kinds of victory the Buddha gained. So victory on the evil spirits, victory on the the Alavaka or something like this. So it is through the loving kindness, Metta, that the Buddha gained the victory on all sort of the difficulties and evil. So as a Buddha's disciple, as a Buddha's son and daughter, we should follow the Buddha's step. We should follow the method given by the Buddha. So we should develop Metta to overcome all sort of difficulties and problems. And so this Metta, loving kindness, is the most powerful to deal with any kinds of the problem. So here in Burma we have very good Dhamma sound about the Metta practice. The Buddha applied to deal with any kinds of the problem. So especially 8 kinds of the victory were gained through especially through the loving kindness. So in honor of the Buddha, or in appreciation of the Buddha's qualities and Metta, we should develop Metta, loving kindness, so that we can overcome internal or external enemies and can practice meditation successfully. So the all psychophysical phenomena that belong to Sayadaw himself and all the audience and any other living beings are suffering because they are afflicted by the old age, sickness and death and several kinds of the distress. And then attachment to them is of 3 kinds, 6 kinds and 108. All kinds of attachments are cause of the suffering. The Nibbana is the cessation of the attachment. The mindfulness practice is the right path leading to the cessation of the attachment. So may all yogis here realize these 4 noble truths through the mindfulness meditation. That's all for today. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.